My sincerest apologies. I had this nutty idea of using Wirecast, giving Wirecast Pro a chance. I signed up for Wirecast Pro, bought the license, tried it out in a test early this morning. It worked when I didn't need it to work. And of course, hello, Barry Lee. Of course, when I need it to work prime time, and I hedged by saying I'm probably going to start around 12 midnight or 9 o'clock, right? Thinking that I might have a technical issue. Well, I was right. Wirecast failed me once again. Instead of the Wirecast Pro kicking in, instead of it treating the right encoding that I selected as the right encoding, it failed me. So I'm not going to try Wirecast anymore because it's much easier and faster and more efficient for me to use YouTube Live Mobile. After all, as YouTube partner, I'm one of the first to be granted what now everyone else on YouTube can do, which is make live mobile exchanges on video, a blog. And here I am. But I apologize because hey Darren, how are you? My intent was to be on a lot earlier than this. So here I am. Again, Wirecast Pro is just for the birds. I'm shutting it down right now. I'm turning it off for right now. The computer's right down here. How you doing, AAG209? And I'm stopping the broadcast, which isn't going anywhere. It's don't save, right? And I have to now go over to, excuse me, there. I've got to go back to the live stream. And let's see here. Everyone, I wonder if you're on the same stream. Let me try something here. What I'm doing here is I'm refreshing the page of the original live stream. Okay, I don't see that. I'm going back to streaming and seeing what it gives me. Forgive me, folks. It's just that I believe now we have the proper stream status is good. Sync to preview player is in place. I'm live. There I am in this because I was praying. I was like, right? And now I'm going to view the watch page because now I've got to reset everything. And hello, everybody. Everybody's here. So it looks like I got to go back here because it looks like the original stream was, yeah. Okay, now I'm everything is here. I've got to now recalibrate the SEO because I had it set up in another event page under the same live stream title, and if Wirecast happens to see this, I'm going to make sure the Wirecast people see this. I'm going to say, hey, look, I bought the Wirecast Pro license and it failed me. So you guys owe me $20. So hey, because if it worked well, I'll be singing Wirecast Pro praises. But I digress. It's time to talk. All right. I've got to tell you folks that this stadium deal, is hinky. How you doing? Hey everybody. It's how should I say it? It's very questionable at best. And I'm going to go back to something that I introduced last night. I intended to make a video earlier today, but I'll do tomorrow. And I've seen the commercial I've seen the photograph of the mayor with Dave Cavall in a little clip. I haven't seen the whole commercial yet regarding the mayor and the A's. Now, here, where I'm going right now is I'm going back to set up the search engine optimization and the meta tags for this, which is what every good YouTuber should do. And we can get started. And I can say 62 there, Raiders. And then I can save changes, then go to the watch page where you guys are, tweet this out, and as the Squire of Gothos would say in Star Trek, have at it, right? So, hello. Gregory says suspect. You're right. Gregory Wesley, you're right. Suspect. Both Wirecast and the stadium deal. Both are suspect. Oh, Jim Otto is not in approval of the deal, says Crawford371. Let me go back and see. Hey, Matthew Mendez, I'm going to say hi to... Hey, Barry Lee, how are you? Eric Freeman Jr., how you doing? Wesley says, the smooth as silk here, thank you. Golden State Raiders says, Zinni, there is a ton of folks on the other stream waiting for you. Can you bring them over to this one? Are they here now? They're 40 watching now. Ellis Conway, finally, how you doing? How is everybody? Again, I apologize. I am sorry, and I am sorry for the tech issues with Wirecast. There, now. Hey, everybody. Hey, Joseph Jones. And I said I meant Wirecast. I'm sorry. Wirecast. There. Sorry for the tech issues with Wirecast. If you're wondering what Wirecast is, it's a kind of encoding software that... I'll get your question in a second. I'll just say this. It's a kind of encoding software you download and use on your Macintosh or your other computer, and you have to buy a license, Wirecast Pro license, which I did buy. It cost like $20. And it's supposed to send the encoding data from the software to the YouTube page. It didn't work. All right? And I spent the better part of 25 minutes trying to get it work, in addition to the first 10 minutes where I thought it was going to work. So then I switched to YouTube Live Mobile. No muss, no fuss. A lot of you said I should try Google Hangouts. There's an issue with that I'll talk about another time, but I want to get to your questions. A lot of folks are holding on to hope that this deal doesn't materialize, but I just don't see that happening. 31 owners speaks volumes. This Vegas deal will happen with or without Mark Davis. Here's what I think will happen. George is treating me very well. Thank you. Now, Joseph Gonzalez says, I just saw an interview with Libby a few days prior to the vote on CBSS at Bay Area, listening to both sides. It's he said, she said stadium situation. Steve Mayer, hey Mayor, hey, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Still, Zinni, you'll need a communications director when you become mayor. I got you. Dustin, I'll keep that in mind. Thank you. Matthew Mendez, how do you feel about the move? Yeah, I feel numb. I'm cold. Because I feel it says, hey, Zinni, we'll be doing a stream review for Ghost in the Shell movie this weekend. I love anime. That's a good idea. This is Comic-Con. And I got to get ready for April Fool. But, all right. Let's talk the deal. I'm not going to fall off that. First of all, I'm going to repeat something that I said yesterday on the assumption that a lot of you were not, or some of you did not hear it. For those of you who believe that the Raiders deal in Las Vegas is such that the Raiders are contributing $500 million, they're not. It's $300 million. And I talked to Jeremy Aguillo, the stadium consultant, tonight, and what we did confirm was what is in Nevada Senate Bill 1, or what is called the Southern Nevada Tourism and Infrastructure Act. And that is that basically the assignment goes like this, okay? The Las Vegas Stadium Authority is assigned the responsibility of selling PSLs to you on behalf of the NFL team, the Raiders. They take that money, cha-ching, and that money goes into something called a stadium construction fund. That money from the sale of PSLs to the stadium construction fund is counted against the $750 million cap. That's a cap of public money expenditures, right? So we were all under the impression the Raiders were going to absorb shortfalls from PSL sales, right? No. The way the deal is actually designed, this is all in SB1. You can read it yourself. Basically, the stadium and the county of Clark County are basically absorbing any losses in PSL revenue monies, PSL monies that are not raised. And here's the other head scratcher. Think about this, all right? This is really a huge problem, all right? And it has to be straightened out. And Jeremy and I are going to talk again on Monday because he claimed he couldn't hear the rest of my question by cell, and he called me back once, but the second time he really didn't. He's 3 hours behind me, so I figured it's basically earlier in the evening for him, right? Jeremy Aguilo is the applied economics consultant to the Las Vegas Stadium Authority. A good guy. But what he did was he confirmed everything but my question regarding the shortfall. Now, I really don't need confirmation for something that's in black and white. I really don't need confirmation for something that's in black and white. Black and white says that money, that $750 million, is a public subsidy cap. Now, it would be nice to talk to him to determine what their intent was versus what is written and how he interprets with the language. But so far, we're right in lockstep with each other. And that the $750 million cap is a public money cap. It's $750 million from the hotel tax. But the PSLs were sold to us, if you will, as if it was a private contribution from the Raiders. But the Stadium Authority, according to the law, SB1, is selling the PSLs on behalf of the NFL team, putting that money in the Stadium Construction Fund, and that contribution is counted against the public cap. Think about that. That's wild, all right? Now, I'll get to your questions now, your points. Let's see here. Mods, are you here? Moderators, are you active? Golden State Raider, you're active. Is John Marks around? John Marks, are you active? Barry Lee is here. Donald Richardson is here. Donald's active. I got my moderators. I got my horsemen. Donald Richardson also has a question. Zinni, I want your opinion. I had a client tell me he is considering forwarding his therapy bills to the Raiders because of all of his stress is due to the relocation of the Raiders. He can also sue the Raiders for emotional damage. Could do that. Hey, Big Bob, how you doing? Thank you. Dustin Scott, I feel like I'm getting an urban planning degree from Zinni. Well, I got one from Berkeley, so hey, maybe I should go to school back and teach, right? Hey, stadium economics. Anyway, I lost a lot of respect for Goodell. I wish he would just have said it's all about the money. You know, Bodger is in a tough spot. Esther Trouble. County and City don't want to have a community input. Octavio Arias says, how many people have asked for season ticket refund? That's a good question. Golden State Raider says he'll invite me to a game next. I got to get back to something here. I feel like I'm missing some comments other people have made. Ellis Conway, how are you? Maniac, refresh app and you should be good. Thank you. Trolls beware, the mods are here, says Barry Lee. And Zinni, the Zennerators are be your bodyguards. Thank you, sir. Rams 916, billionaire minority owner, and Mark didn't reach out to him. Why is that? Excellent point. Joseph Gonzalez, I saw that. Okay, now. I believe now I'm up to date. Now, Blind Side in says, which lawsuit will come first, Z? I believe the lawsuit that Ray Bobbitt is working on is going to come first because he's seriously focused on it. And Ray Bobbitt is a gentleman who rallied and marshaled together Save Oakland Sports, the 66th Mob, and other Raider groups and concerned citizens, and had that fantastic rally, which some of you may have attended, at the Oakland Hilton, and it was an incredible event, drew about 110 Raiders supporters. Ronnie Lott showed up for a minute. Now, let's see here. Don Rich says 14 refunds and counting. T. Cooper, good evening, Zinni. I always enjoy your vlogs. Thank you, Mr. Cooper. Or Ms. Cooper, T. Cooper. I don't know if it's Mr. or Ms. Golden State Raider let's see. So let's set up a GoFundMe page for Zinni to raise money so he can expand YouTube. I don't know what that means there. Rally was the shit. It was, wasn't it? And so will the city sue the NFL or just the Raiders? I believe that Ricardo Villalobos has asked that question. And Ellis Conway says this stadium deal and the way the media has spun false information reminds me a lot of when the NFL is trying to cover up concussions. Hey, that's interesting. Now I want to say something about. Moffley says lobby, but Bloffy actually means Libby is moving on. Why can't Oakland move on? They voted the people that could have done something to save the Raiders in Oakland. Shaking my head. I don't quite understand that one. Let me go back to, because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here. First of all, if there are two lawsuits that come, one will be by Ray Bobbitt to sue for the name. He said he wants the brand. There are others that are on board to assist. As far as the city, it will be for damages, perhaps the name. I know that both organizations are talking. This is all still early in the game. John Kecker of Kecker and Van Nest LLP is, actually I added a partner. I forgot that partner's name, but I digress. And they are reviewing the language of the NFL relocation documents, the leases, and other findings, reports, accounts, blogs certain people have written, vlogs certain people have made, and he's going to come to a determination as to whether or not the city has a case. The city has a case. And there are some, like Oakland Councilmember Larry Reed, that want to do a winnable case. There are others, like my friend Bossman, who say, just fight and, sue, okay? Now, as far as Ellis Conway, you said the stadium was spinning a lot of false information. Yeah, and in fact, when I was at the NFL annual meeting, Vinny Bonasori, who I actually liked as a person, but he was under the impression that I accused him of being racist, and I didn't. And I reviewed he's of the LA Daily News, and I reviewed every tweet that I put out that might have had his name in it, coming from my Twitter account, or videos that I made that were directed to him, and I never once called him racist. He goes, oh, you called me racist, and my wife is black. And I said, Vinny, I didn't do that. And what's happened is that Vinny is extremely sensitive, and yet he gets on Twitter, and he has exchanges with people, and he doesn't understand the old saying, which is, you can hate the game, you can like the player, but hate the game, right? That's something he didn't get the memo about. I have defended Vinny before a number of people and said, hey, leave him alone, don't bother him, yada, 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 because he doesn't know how to take it. But he's kind of gone off the deep end, in my opinion, with this stuff, and I just thought, you know what, dude, I have nothing against you. You do what you do the way you do. I don't have to agree with it. My only truck, and I've said it once, and I'll say it again, is that he always put out just the negative news about Oakland. All right? Just the negative news about Oakland. And there is something there about how certain people are seemingly favored by certain reporters are favored by the NFL because they meet the party line. And I remember seeing a certain NFL official, I'm not going to name, shaking hands with Vinny and a couple of other reporters, like, we got this, okay? And that scene was not lost on me. It was not lost on me at all. I was on one side of the street at the Arizona Biltmore. The owners were walking by us, and they were on the other side. And I saw this in clear view, and that image is indelibly marked on my brain. So I think there was a constant mantra, a constant repeating of a message that perhaps somebody with the league is watching this, was pushed out there. I think it did a great disservice to a number of people. Now, regarding the commissioner's role in this, I really feel sorry for Roger, because I believe in my heart of hearts that Roger wanted the Raiders in Oakland, but his bosses are the owners, and a significant number of them, as organized by Mark Davis and Jerry Jones, basically turned against him. And that's what, reading the tea leaves, I believe happened to Roger. And he has to, if he wants to hold his job as commissioner, toe the line. If he doesn't, he can go rogue. They can always get somebody else and get what they want done. But that's okay. There's some reason they did this, and there's a lockstep in their decision to do this. So I think part of it is, excuse me, I'm missing some of your comments because I don't want to talk too much. I want to get your comments right now. I want to be more interactive than not. Okay. Edward Diggs says exactly. It's actually owned by the NFL. Let's see. Barry Lee says everyone hit that thumbs up icon and subscribe to the Zinni YouTube channel. Thank you. Yes. Blindside Entertainment. Z, why does this feel like isn't going to happen? I feel like the Raiders' ghetto business practices will mess this whole Vegas thing up. It falls through. Where will they play, Merritt? I think they're being set up to fail. The question is why, because what I can't get out of my mind is the fact that if they lose money, the league owners someone will feel compelled to help or assist in having this not happen. I'm going to say one thing. I don't want to piss off anybody, but I'm going to be honest about why also I'm not that upset. I think having football in Vegas is exciting. Yeah, there, I said it, okay? And I really, as an urban planner, a person trained in architecture, I really like what Manteca put together in terms of providing imagery that could have been done in Oakland. And I'm really upset that we didn't do that in Oakland. We never once saw an Oakland version of the Raiders Stadium, except that stick figure sketch drawing that I created, remember? Which I actually wanted to be an architectural drawing. I tried to get a fellow who was promoting a baseball design to do it for me. He wanted more money than I wanted to pay, but he was willing to do other free stuff for somebody else. I don't want to get too far down that pipe, but that kind of irked me a bit, because I could have made that guy a real huge star. If he had done this as well as he did the other one, we would have been able to change the game in terms of this whole discussion. Yeah, I'm really bothered by that now that I think about it again. Anyway, okay, now, but my stick figure drawing is pretty cool. Now, let's see here. Esther to Trouble, hi, says, and while a mega crematorium will be built on 98th and Kitty Lane right next door to the Coliseum area development. Is that right? Really? Is that serious? Let's see here. Wiggle Baby says, the name isn't Mark's. I have a feeling he will have to compromise in court. I agree. Browns showed it really well, and most franchises in sports have followed suit. That's true. Steve Macy, what would be the basis to be sued for the brand? I know Cleveland did it. The basis in our case, and I'm going to piece this together until I tried to get Lee Steinberg on tonight, but he's got other commitments that he made, and the guy that was his assistant just got another job, so I had to reset, and he was a friend of mine. Now, hey Rick Gray, how are you? Let's see here. Ellis Conway says Scott Bear. I'm confused as to where Scott comes into this. Can you elaborate? Octavio Arias says the Raiders' name is Oakland's, but the image and ideology is Al Davis. Let's see here. Peter G. Roger looked like a puppet up there speaking. Golden State Raider. That's true. Roger did want them in Oakland. He really did. Look, Roger has said this to me for the better part of 2 years, and I have the videos to prove it. Okay, so this isn't something where he was not sincere. Roger was very sincere, but he also works for a group of people that happen to be the owners of 32 of the most popular organizations in sport. So that he's got a tightrope to walk. He's not a dictator. Okay? Now, and Citron says, is that why there was no secret vote. That, that's still puzzling to me. But yeah, if we had a secret vote, I think we would have been all right. But we didn't have one. I think that was deliberate. Someone engineered that, and I'm not getting any answers about that from the league. I will keep digging though, and I will find my answers. Zinni, we all recognize the butt kissers in the media. Thank you. MSU is getting robbed in women's national game. Oh, hey, but it's UConn, okay? Let's see here. Golden State Raider. Let's see here. T. Cooper. Why didn't Roger postpone the vote if he was feeling that way? It wasn't his to determine. You have to go through the committees. You have to get the buy-in of Art Rooney and others, and so it wasn't him to just say, okay, we're going to table this. There are more powerful reasons they wanted this went through, and I guess they just wanted to simply move on. Zin, is it possible to Vegas could still fall through? Yes, it is. It is. Blindside Entertainment says, just say it, Z. Say what? Repeat that. Let's see here. The stadium concept in Vegas is eye candy indeed. Yeah, we don't have any eye candy in Oakland. We've never had any eye candy. That thing that makes other people say, hey, you're working on something, right? We never had that. And I kept saying to Libby again and again and again, we need drawings. I said to Nate Miley, we need drawings. Nate told me he saw them. Well, you know what? You have a smartphone, take a photograph of one of the drawings, text it to me, and I'll put it on blast, Wow. Let's see here. Ellis Conway says, we could have put a stadium and casino, hotels, and clubs, and it would have been more affordable in Oakland. Yes. Tater Talk Key. Hey, Zinni. How you doing? ET123 Rick Rice. Change the game, Zinni. You're the man. Thank you. I'm working to do that. I feel like I feel like I'm trying to lift the world, though. It's just, lift the world is a heavy thing, man. Vegas conception is Carson recycled. And it is. But the whole point is, you know what? We could have done that. We could have taken Carson and recycled it. In fact, someone do that. Someone take Carson and put it in the Coliseum. Maybe I'll do that. We could have done the same thing. If they like that design so much, bring it to the Bay Area. Why not? Why not? I really like that idea. Now, how can you sue for a name and brand that isn't even yours? Says Wiggly Sticks Viz. Can you? Well, it's not so much that. It's a matter of eminent domain. And Wiggly Sticks Vids, I ask you to look at the... thank you for saying it was my national treasure. I ask you to look at the decision that caused... It's the city of Oakland versus the Oakland Raiders. Look at that. And look at the Supreme Court decision, which actually gave us, the city of Oakland, the right to acquire the Raiders by eminent domain. But we had to prove why the Raiders are so valuable to us. And so the California Supreme Court threw the case back to the appellate court, and at the appellate court level, the Raiders claim that because of the Commerce Clause, the organization had the right to the free flow of commerce to pursue working in what they believed at the time and numerically was a better market in Los Angeles. That is not true in the case of the market in Las Vegas versus the San Francisco Bay Area, of which Oakland is at the center. So this is going to take time. We're not going to see this, boom, quick lawsuit. We should have. If the city of Oakland and the county of Alameda and the JPA were all one and had their ducks in a row, the grounds for a lawsuit would already have been drafted. It would have flown out of the door and it would have hit the Raiders and perhaps the NFL upside the head. Okay? Because that means you know what you're doing, rather than at the last minute having to scramble around and figure out, all right, what's the wording here? What is this, right? It means you know the deal. Okay? I'll be blunt. I set the table for the parties a year ago at the NFL Spring League meeting in Charlotte when I said to the commissioner, when I pointed out that Mark Davis was not acting in good faith. And I'd already talked to a member of the Oakland City Attorney's Office about that, and Oakland Council member Larry Mead, who said the Raiders were not being truthful. That was a year ago, folks. So the stage was already set. In fact, you want to go back even further? Let's go back another year to 2015. We had the NFL Owners Spring League meeting at the Ritz-Carlton in San Francisco just prior to Super Bowl 50, okay? There, I pointed out to Mark Davis on video, hey, you're working behind Mayor Schaaf's back. He looked at me like he wanted to kill me. And I pressed the issue, and he claimed that he wasn't. But the same week, that was a Tuesday, right? Thursday, Raider President Mark Bedane was in Carson, putting a Raider pin on the mayor of Carson's suit lapel. All right? So there's a number of examples of the Raiders not acting in good faith. Now, Libby yourself has said the NFL has been signed. Fine, so it's a matter of parsing the NFL away from the Raiders. Commissioner Roger Goodell has been very clear to me. Chicago NFL draft, he said it. He's seeking a long-term stadium solution in Oakland. He repeated that the second year at the Chicago NFL draft. That was last year. Okay? So this has been, now we're here. That's 3 years, folks. Now, how many times does he have to say it? And we've known that's been the situation. We didn't build the stadium. We reacted to Vegas. That's the problem. That's the problem, all right? And Bill Lord said the NFL plan was not viable. The NFL present to Oakland what a viable plan is. Well, I think you can read between the lines and figure out that that's not true, okay? And Stevie Booth says Raiders could never qualify for the B of A loan. The NFL guaranteed the loan for the Raiders, meaning the NFL never intended for the Raiders to stay in Oakland. The NFL wanted that $750 million at all costs. I think there's something wrong with that because, look, I pointed this out. Mr. Ross, who owns the Dolphins, backed it up. That deal is debt-laden, okay? It's debt-laden. So why would the league chase $750 million of public money only to incur that much in debt unless it wanted Adelson out of the way, because the league has issues with Sheldon Adelson, and it does. But then, in getting Adelson out of the way, approving the Raiders to go to Las Vegas, they then open the door for any other investor to be involved. Any other investor. What I fear, however, and this is something that I think should scare the pants off anybody who's a Vegas fan or Raiders fan or just a fan of good people, is that the door has been open for money laundering on a dramatically high scale. That is what I fear. Now, let's see here. Roger is not boss, right? Let's see where. Brian Lloyd, can the people of Vegas vote to take the money back from the deal? I believe they can, but I'll double check on that. Zanny. Actually, you know what? No, right now, because it's not that they can't, but there is a part of the bill that basically has been activated now that the NFL has voted to allow the Raiders to relocate to Las Vegas within a time certain. Because of that, you can't just undo the bill. All right? And I'm going to research that because it's a very good question. I'm assuming you can't do that, and I'm assuming there are people who don't want to do that. And I do think, having said all that, it would be a bad thing to do. The outcome I would like to see is that the city of Oakland, the county of Alameda, get the brand of the Raiders, the name, and another team goes there that's owned by Mark Davis. That would be the ideal outcome. I think that would be the proper remedy from all of this, considering how we've been treated, okay? I think that would be the best, all right? And so David Herta said the Coliseum is going to become a swap meet on steroids. Let's see here. Zany, odd question. I've been hearing rumblings. Do you think Oakland make a play for the Jaguars? That's the first thing I raised that issue at the owners meeting, and and Sidon says, what happens to Fortress and development of the Oakland site? They still have control. That hasn't gone away. Tater Tot, can you subscribe to my channel back? Golden State Red, I'll subscribe to your channel too. Bill Walter Zinni, the NFL said the plan was not viable. The NFL presented to Oakland what a viable plan is. I saw your question before, but I want to make sure I answered it. No, they did not. But we can read between the lines and say, hey, look, we have a viable plan. We can still build a stadium if we want to right now. In fact, what I think Libby ought to do is just go ahead and pull the trigger and build the stadium. And say, you know what, we're going to go after some NFL team. Be aggressive, but not cave in. One of the issues here is that we're caving in. The technical issue I have is that we need more convention space and hotel rooms in Oakland, and we've done nothing about it. A lot of our elected officials are acting like elected officials, no offense, in Berkeley. More interested in passing resolutions that have to do with pipelines, and I'm not criticizing the pipeline issue, but it's not about fixing streets and roads and building infrastructure and stadiums in our city, is it? Did you have politicians in Oakland focusing more on that than they do on what we're talking about? And I'm sorry, I don't think that's right. Now, okay. Can the people of Las Vegas, let's see where we're seeing. Melvin Lovejoy says, I'm lifting Radio Nation. I'm trying. Thank you. Crawford 371, they could have massively renovated the Coliseum and rebuilt it around the East End where Mount Davis stands now. That's my plan. That was my initial plan. T. Cooper, I am hearing different things about Libby doesn't want the Raiders in Oakland and was light-footing the whole deal. Is this true? Libby was focused, but there's a lot that she could have done. I'll tell you what she specifically should have done. She should have started a task force like that. She should not have waited to get her assistant city administrator on. She should have brought the whole Bay Area sports community together to bear on this. What do I mean? We have University of San Francisco Sport Management Program. We have sport marketing consultant Andy Dolich, who's worked for both the Warriors and the A's. We've got people like, for example, a number of people who worked on the Super Bowl 50 campaign, like my friend Stephanie Martin, who does PR and communications for sports, or Pat Gallagher of Giants Enterprises. There are a number of people, Scott McKibben of the JPA, who would form a fantastic star group, a star chamber of local Bay Area sports people committed and who have relationships with the NFL to building a stadium in Oakland. That would have spoke volumes to everyone. It would have meant we were serious. But Libby didn't want to do that. That's the real game changer, okay? That's what I consistently come back to when I think about this. We needed that task force. It would have been the most powerful task force ever because we are arguably the best region for sports in the country. In the country, okay? So, and we still are. We came close to having the Olympics here, right? So my point is, okay, now, Richard Tinwolf, how are you? Anyone else think about sandstorms during tailgates in Vegas? Hey, that's right, we had that problem, didn't we? But Zinni be dropping knowledge on the spot. Thank you. Beeson, why couldn't the new Oakland Stadium hold like 70,000 people? This is from Go Cubs. Hey, how you doing, Go Cubs? Instead of this proposed 55,000 people, kind of off topic. I always wondered this. It's not off topic, Go Cubs. It's a good question. It came out of this idea initially by Mark Davis that he couldn't sell out in Oakland. But what Mr. Davis failed to recognize is that new stadiums have a novelty factor that lasts 3 to 4 years and are much better attended than their older counterpart. And in this instance, we've had a stadium that has not been rebuilt significantly since the Raiders returned. Even then, it wasn't, when we brought the Raiders back from Los Angeles, the $220 million of upgrades that the PSLs were supposed to pay for, but the city and county wound up paying for because we didn't sell all the PSLs were only done to make changes for the Raiders, East Side Club, and so on. But it didn't result in a state-of-the-art complex. What do I mean? I'll give you one example of many. First of all, we had, and this was the designer, this was because of the advice of Block Consulting, which is a food, and at the time was a food and sports entertainment consulting organization that was hired by the city of Oakland, specifically assistant city manager Ezra Rapport. Now, by the way, when I tried to tell Mark Davis about this, the second time I met him, he goes, I don't want to hear about the past. Just saying, right? But Block Consulting recommended the construction of a $10 million central kitchen between the stadium and the arena, which is right here. That's far different. Now if you think about the way this lays out, all right, you have the kitchen here, all right? In the kitchen, you have to cook the food here, and then it has to be picked up by the workers, and then it has to be delivered either to the seats here or to the seats and suites here, or which also are here. Modern stadium and arenas have satellite kitchens. You cook the food at the satellite kitchens and you deliver them faster to the patrons. That is a major difference. And it may not sound like a big deal, but when you build a $10 million kitchen, you've got plumbing and HVAC considerations that go into that you would have to rip up in order to reconstruct the kitchens into a modern system. That's one big change that happened as the Coliseum was aging, right? Now, let's see. Now, there are people who say that, Amy Trask and others, that we are headed toward that new, smaller stadium because of rising ticket prices, the role of the ticket broker, and the secondary ticket exchange. But the simple fact of the matter is that 65 to 70,000 seat stadium is still the NFL Super Bowl benchmark. And if we had a 55,000 seat stadium, in spite of what Eric Grubman said, I really doubt that they would give us the Super Bowl over Levi Stadium across the bay. Because the argument would be, well, they had the Super Bowl before, they're a bigger stadium, and so on. What about the whole idea that, which was started under NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue, that when you build a new stadium, you get a Super Bowl? Seattle hasn't got that, and Seattle has a new stadium. Seattle deserves the right to host the Super Bowl. But the reason why Super Bowl isn't in Seattle isn't so much the capacity, it's the weather. The NFL specifications said that you had to, if you were in a city where the average January, February temperature was below 54 degrees, you had to have a dome. If it was above that, you could do open air. Okay? So we kind of fall just on the upper part, which is why we were able to have it at Levi Stadium. Now, and Golden State Raiders says a year ago, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas talks started. Actually, it was more than a year ago, but they ramped up. Rami 916 said they had 82 mile per hour wind gust sandstorm. Yeah, I mean, trucks were being knocked over and everything. And so with wind gusts like that, you have to ask yourself, how is that going to impact that glass sheathing around the stadium and everything? And the retractable roof, how is that going to impact the roof? Can a retractable roof work with that kind of dust? Will the dust get caught in those gears and get stuck? How do you manage all that? See, those are the things that need to be thought through. Whew. All right. Wiggle Babies. Yes, Zinni has a pretty good background in business administration. Actually, urban planning. But thank you. Octavio Arias. The Bay Area cities should have united to keep the team. The Bay Area is a bigger market, but Las Vegas is a bigger market than Oakland on its own. Octavio, that is wrong. You have to take Oakland, as I do. It is at the center of the San Francisco Bay Area, okay? And if you, for example, I think of the Bay Area in this way. There's what I call the inner Bay Area and the outer Bay Area. Let me get a map and I'll show you what I'm talking about real quick here. Let's see here. SF Bay Area. SF Hey, Mississippi State beat UConn. Excuse me. SF Bay Area map. Okay. All right. I'm going to show you this map of the Bay Area. Folks, bear with me. Hey, great to see you too, by the way. And let's have a look at this Bay Area map. If I put this that, bingo. Okay, now. This is a map of the San Francisco Bay Area, and at the center is Oakland. You see that? That's Oakland right here. Okay? There's Oakland. And there's San Francisco. And if we look at other maps, you can get a better idea of what I'm talking about. Here's another one. There's San Francisco. And Oakland is right here, okay? And here's another one, all right? Someone put the mark for San Francisco where Oakland is, which is pretty crazy. Now, I don't know why they put that map there. Hold on a second. Images is what I'm looking for. Yeah. There it is. Okay, look at that. All right, this is what I'm talking about. See Oakland. You see that? Oakland. There's San Francisco. And then San Jose is to the south. You want a better idea what I'm talking about? Look at this one. Okay. Come on, open up. There's another one. Here's another one. This is great. See, we have Oakland there, and San Francisco and San Jose. But Oakland is at the center. You see, Oakland is at the center. Here's another map. Oakland is at the center. Here is Oakland right here. Okay, that's Oakland. Oakland is at the center. There's San Francisco. There's San Jose. There's Marin wine countries up here. 9-county Bay Area. Almost 8 million people in the population. See the idea? You can't compare Las Vegas to Oakland as if Oakland is standing out there on its own. That's not to do that is dishonest to the geographic structure of the Bay Area and the movements in population in the San Francisco Bay Area. In other words, it's a lie. You see what I'm getting at? You can't do that. So you can't do that. Octavio says that, yeah, and the Bay Area should have, the Bay Area, that's what I'm saying, if Libby had done the task force, as I said, she should have done it. Sounds like a line from Reservoir Dogs, doesn't it? If he hadn't have done what I told him to do, he should still be alive. Anyway, the bottom line is, or if he had done what I told him to do, he'd still be alive. That's the line from Michael Matz. At any rate, my point is that if she had done what I told her to do, we'd have won. So there you go. My point is that if we had a Reservoir Dogs, a task force of the heavy hitters in the Bay Area in sports marketing, we would have won. Our own mafia. And that's my point. We didn't establish our own mafia. The NFL's got its mafia. We got ours. We didn't activate our mafia. Because some of our mafioso know some of their mafioso. You think I'm kidding? I am not kidding. That's how you play the game. So, Golden State Raiders says he didn't think Trump would win the president, like I thought the Raiders wouldn't go to Vegas. Boy, was I wrong. Hey, I'm feeling you. Crawford says Las Vegas started before the regular season ended in 2015. Was that Frank Hawkins that did that? Let's see here. Rick Gray, what about this PSL debate I was having with MM 9073? Did I read about it? SB1 Section 32 subdivisions 1 through 5 and saw nothing in the wording that stated the PSL money would be to pay back the Raiders to pay the Raiders back. Rick Gray, yes, that's what I've been saying. Not only that, again, to repeat my point, the Stadium Authority sells the PSLs on behalf of the Raiders. That money is put into a stadium construction fund, and it's counted against the public subsidy cap of $750 million, whichever is lesser. It's either $750 million or the amount of tax that is collected at the time by the hotel tax for stadium construction at that time. Okay, So whichever is lesser. But the bottom line is it's considered public money. It's not considered a private contribution. In spite of the fact that the Raiders treated it as if it was a private contribution on their part. It's not. So really, what are they putting in? $300 million, not $500 million. Now, there you go. What about this? What's this rooted in Oakland slogan? They were literally forced to be rooted in Oakland. Well, let's see here. Golden State Raiders says timeout about something. Moffley. Raiders got a deal in Vegas. The city of Oakland fumbled and didn't have a clue. But Moffley, the question is not that we didn't have a clue. That Mark Davis didn't want to be here because, as Ziggy Wolf told us at the NFL annual meeting, I wanted my team in my city, and I was going to will a way to get it done. We ever heard Mark Davis say that? Okay. Mark wanted to be out of there for some particular reason. Now, Winkle Baby says NFL will have to back up their media viable in court. It's certainly beginning to look that way. Golden State Raiders says, why? I don't know what you guys are talking about. Let's see here. You guys, you moderators, you know what? I trust you moderators. Whatever you guys got going, I'm not going to intervene. I trust you. You guys are the horse people. I meant the horsemen, but, you know what I'm saying. Okay. Let's see here. Auburn win. It should be Autumn win. Auburn win. How you doing? Zenny. What have you heard from Death Ray or Dr. Death? You know, he's going through a lot. There are people. Hey, John. John is here. My life is complete tonight. Yes, thank you, John. Thank you. He is here. Alameda Point is already accounted for. Yes. Eric Powell says, I'm confused. Any people are saying that Vegas was a lock from the beginning. So why are we discussing this? I'm not being sarcastic. Because it's not so much that it was a lock, but the reason why we're discussing this is because it looks like something that's suable. It's one thing to say something is a lock and then set up a false competition if you had no intention of Oakland retaining the Raiders. If you had us go through all this trouble and you keep changing the game on us when all the time you wanted to go to Vegas, that's suable. Because it means you weren't acting in good faith. And that's why we're having this discussion. Okay? How can they keep a huge stadium cool in 100-degree temperatures in September? Yeah, the power drain on that's going to be tremendous. Whew. Oakland never had the name originally. They were in LA before that. Oh, that's not true. No. Oakland did have the name originally. They were the Oakland Raiders, went to Los Angeles for 13 years and came back. They came back to the city that they were born in. Okay? And as I said the other night, when I talked about the Oakland song, there is a unique Oakland personality that carved the Raider brand that could not be done in Los Angeles or any place else in the entire world, particularly at that time in the 60s. So no. I mean, Oakland is unique. It gave birth to the Raiders. It gave birth to this renegade, Hell's Angel-esque team of players that hung out at Joe Scoma's and, did drugs with the musicians. I'm not kidding you. I'm talking about the Stabler days. Okay, they were some guys that were wild. John Banaszak, John Matuzak, Mr. Davis in his corner at Francesco's. He had the Al Davis corner. Sadly, Francesco's is closed now. I don't forget that. That was a heck of a time. I got to get Charlie Santana Jr. on here to talk about that. Give you guys a real Raider fan history lesson from an old-time Raider fan. I don't know if he would want me to call him old-time, but he'll be okay with it. I'll get to Charlie. Charlie Santana Jr., the best Chevy salesman in the San Francisco Bay Area. His father, Charlie Santana Sr., helped bring the Raiders back to Oakland. Now, let's see. Do you see, this is from Juan Ramirez, how do you see Mark Davis coping with the hatred toward him for the remaining years in Oakland during the games? How much distraction will this have on the team? Tremendous. I don't know how he deals with that. I don't know why I don't know why. I don't know how he squares that circle unless he just cancels the idea of relocating altogether. Bill Waller, the citizens of Oakland voted the name in a Oakland Tribune contest. The senior's name was laughed at, so they changed it to the Raiders. Hey, if that's the case, then we really deserve the Knight to the name. It was born here in a contest by the Tribune. There you go. If it was closed in your town, Zingy, cook you a steak. Thanks, man. Rams 916. Al Davis asked the people of Oakland for suggestions on a new name for the seniors. Al didn't come up with the Raiders. Oakland did. Hey, Zinny, remember Leon Heskett and Coliseum Carpet? I do, Mr. Marks. Frosty the Snowman asks, has anyone been down to the recycling center by 880? That wooden statue is still there. I want to get a picture with myself in that statue. Yeah, do that, definitely. Let's see. Enjoy Laugh Now 24. Let's fight for the brand, for the rebirth of the Raiders in Oakland. Mark Davis team in Vegas should be named the Las Vegas Gamblers or Las Vegas Desert Outlaws. I like that, the Las Vegas Desert Outlaws. David Horta. When Al Davis stepped in, the Raiders' name was already there. Yeah, that's right, because he was just the coach. He wasn't really the owner. He was the coach. So yeah. Let's see here. The winner won a trip to Mexico. Wiggle Babies. There is just no way I see the Raiders playing in Oakland this year and next. Going to be protests and angry blue-collar fans. It will be chaos. I bet they will have to up and move somewhere. I do believe that the Raiders, after, have them play this season and then gone, and that's it. If at all. I mean, they have to, not they, because the players are the real Raiders. The players really should talk to Mark Davis, and they should be the ones to bring us all together, because they don't want this to happen. And this really is that point where the players can take a stand and say, we want to be in Oakland, and we don't want to play under this cloud and ruin the relationships we built with these good people. Why do that? The players should be the ones, and I wish would be the ones that really step up, and I know they're just out of college, a number of them, or just a few years out of college, but this is that time when they can really make a difference. They can really be the difference here and say, you know what, just as in the case of free agency with Curt Flood, we're going to take a stand. The players can do that. Now, Steve Macy, time for me to head out. One love and one nation later. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Mr. Macy. Thank you. Blue Dream. My old neighbor was a retired Pro Raiders team member named Dan, I think, was a big dude, number 6. He was a nice old dude. He had some old game balls in the 60s. Okay. Shane Bappa, but I think they weren't Sue. The suit's coming from someplace. You can bet your bippies there. The Raiders gave its soul to Oakland. Dave King Raiders. In Oakland, it's a football thing. Everywhere else is a gang-related thing. I like that. You're right. Sean Hughes. Let's go. I can't say that. W. Michael. Let's see here. Eric Powell. W. Michael. Hey, Zinni. What are the chances of Oakland sticking it to the NFL with legal action? If the Raiders still owe money on the current stadium, they should be bound to the city. Am I wrong? Well, you're not wrong, but however, there are others who believe that, that say, well, there's no language that directly ties the Raiders to the bond issue. But where I disagree with that idea is that the entire bond issue was done for the Raiders. So the Raiders ought to be made to stay here and help continue the activity to pay it off. There are some like Scott McKibben, the executive director of the JPA, who say, hey, look, we make more money without the Raiders. My contention is that the deal that we have with the Raiders is such that we didn't get the sponsorship revenues to take advantage of the Raiders being here that would then help gain us more money in stadium operations revenue for the Coliseum. That whole deal was not struck properly. And maybe it's because the Raiders are hard to deal with in terms of sharing revenue, but we've got to square that circle for both parties. And we have to figure out creative ways to get it done. we don't figure out creative ways to take advantage of this marriage. Okay, that's the number one problem. Now, let's see. Nevada, 13% less taxes. I do think that's another issue. Yeah. Well, maybe you can talk to Carr and ask him. He's the captain of the team. Talk to Davis. I will, but you guys on Twitter, you send him a tweet. Let him know, right? Let's see here. The original Raiders bond was to retire in 2011. That's right. The original Raider bond created the first Oakland Alameda County Coliseum office where Bob Quintella was the president, and he had a 5 to 10 year plan for the Coliseum. Those are the days when the Coliseum was really professionally ran. We had president, we had an architect, we had the general manager of the Coliseum, Bob Quintella and Bob DiCarlo. Those were great guys. Those folks knew what they were doing, and it was an honor to visit them when I represented Elihu Harris, the mayor of Oakland, between 1995 and 1999. It was an honor. They were what, when I think of Quintella and DiCarlo, I think of their faces. I see their faces in a dictionary next to sports professionalism. I'm telling you. They ran it very well. Let's see here. Oh, Dan Connors. Yeah, Dan Connors is linebacker. Linebacker, I believe. Zinni, finish your story, man. What is going on with Dr. Death? Dr. Ray is trying to find a home. He feels homeless. Yeah, 55, Dan Connors. He feels homeless. Blue Dream, Auburn Wind. He feels homeless. He's trying to find another passion. This is a guy whose celebrity was built on the Raiders being here. And now he's got a great job with a firm in Oakland, and he's growing into his next phase of life. But this was something that was central to his non-work existence, okay? And now he feels taken away from him. He doesn't want to be a part of Vegas. And so that's what he's going through. He's depressed. So, folks, give him some love. Show him, let him know that he matters. Because when you go through something like that, when you feel that you put yourself out there, you've been on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and you've been in front of the Raider headquarters going on this rant that went viral on Facebook. I thought he lost it. You have to feel for the guy. And so she needs to hear from people out there that they appreciate what he did. Now, do I think Dr. Death will change over to 49er fan or Athletics fan? No, not at all. Not at all. Let's see here. Other cities have sued for the naming rights. Yeah. Anthony Vargas, how are you, sir? I hope local Oakland fans who buy season tickets show the greedy NFL that loyalty works both ways. While the owners get nice little checks every year with relocation fees, city gets stuck with renovation debt. True. What happens in the next 3 years? Lawsuits. John Mark says Dr. Death is awesome. I agree. And here's what, is hard for me is that I have personal friends and relations at the NFL. So I have worked to not make this personal toward them. I have nothing but love for the people that I know at the National Football League. This is not something that they wanted to have happen. So it's tough for everybody. And I think the best way to handle this is to remind ourselves, as I said before, we can hate the game and like the players. Right? You can like the players and hate the game. And I really think that hating the game is just, but liking the players is something that must be done. We can't tear ourselves apart or create these problems. And I also ask, don't go off and attack other reporters who have had a different line. Jason Cole's a friend of mine. I like Jason, and I've told anyone who wouldn't listen or would, don't try to put a wedge between us, because someone get on Twitter and they'll say, well, Jason said this about you, or Vinny said this about you, and I'm thinking, whatever, I don't care. And occasionally I chime in, right? But that shouldn't be, I can chime in and not take it seriously. But some of those other guys, they lose their heads. Wow. Anyway, the sad part, David Herter says, the sad part for every season ticket being turned down is that there are many on the waiting list ready to gobble them up. So it's pointless to boycott. I don't know, though. I mean, how many people really gobble them up? They're higher prices, remember. Okay? They're higher than they were, significantly higher than the year before. So you've got two problems if you're the Raiders. You've got higher ticket prices, but lower demand because people think you're out of there, and there are people who don't want to buy the product. That's a big problem. That is a perfect storm that would create a collapse in ticket sales, unquestionably. All right. Let's see here. It is 1 o'clock. There's 90. Victor Lima said he canceled his season tickets. He got priced. So I'll go for another 30 minutes, I think, because we're just as I say that, more people start watching. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna keep going. Is Dr. Death a Sharks and A's fan? I believe so. Blue Dream. One of my bro-in-law worked for Barcelona Dragons. Well, you know what? I never actually tweeted this out. Hold on a second. I was kind of remiss here. Let me do that. Raider Nation. Hashtag NFL. There. Tweet gone. Now, let me do this again. And hashtag via YouTube. And I'm going to do this. Raiders. And then I have some fun with... I'm gonna tag Kanye West. Is Kanye West a Raider fan? I don't know. And then Oakland. There. Okay. Let's see. Mike Johnson. What are the chances we win the Super Bowl before leaving Oakland? Donald Pym mentioned that in the interview. I think the chances are good this year. It's too bad the NFL is a monopoly. Fans would have more leverage to boycott if there was another viable professional sports league. Yeah, that was the idea with the USFL. Let's see here. Trip, you keep it real. Thank you, Gregory. Home 336-3308. Oakland has one of the worst stadiums in the NFL. Same thing happened in St. Louis. The city wouldn't invest in dome upgrades. But we would. We never said that. So that's wrong. We always had a plan to do it. The problem was the plan was a reaction to Vegas rather than just a simple infrastructure plan, improvement plan. If we had done this, and we could still do this on our own, you know, that's one thing we ought to do. We ought to just go ahead and build the stadium. We ought to go ahead with the fortress plan as if the owners said absolutely nothing, and with this aggressive desire to do everything privately financed, okay? Because now we don't have to deal with the Raiders. We can do any freaking thing we want to. We are Oakland in the San Francisco Bay Area. We should do that, and we should go after balls to the walls the Jaguars and yank them from Jacksonville. I'm serious. Bring them to Oakland, the Oakland Jaguars. Put them there, you know? They wear black anyway. They're Jaguars. Jaguars eat 49ers. It would be cool. Now, let's see. Oakland Invaders. John Ralston, head coach. That's right. Let's see. Jared Horta, I have no comment about Mr. Davis as negative. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. Because, again, I still like Mark Davis. So, again, I urge you. Hate the game, not the player. Hate the game, not the player. Okay? And the mayor of Oakland's my god sister. Ricardo Volobo, do you think the novelty in Vegas went out quickly? Yes. No, let's see. Gregory Jenkins, I got the eye shot of. No, I didn't get a $100 deposit. No. This feels kind of icky to me. And not only that, I still believe, this isn't done. Let's see here. Zinni, squeaky wheel gets the grease. Fans need to step up. Yes, and players too. Joe Quinnen, what is Libby thinking right now? Good question. Tripping for life. If the San Francisco Bay Area gets an expansion team, that would be extremely interesting. Yes. Or goes after the Jaguars. Let's see here. The Oakland Jags. You think the Oakland Jags are pathetic. I think that has a nice ring to it. The Oakland Jaguars. Or how about this? We sue the Raiders, get the Raiders' name, then yank the Jaguars back here, and we met the Jaguars and the new Raiders. Think about that. Dave Huerta. But think, Dave, okay, I get you about the Oakland Jags, okay? My whole point is this. Okay, but hold on. How about this? You get the Jaguars and you sue the Raiders for the name. You keep the Raiders name here and you slap the Raiders name on the Oakland Jaguars. Or better yet, you take the Oakland Jaguars and give the Jaguars to Vegas. Make them the Las Vegas Jaguars. We keep the Oakland Raiders, but they have a different owner. Hey, solve that problem. You see that? You see that? I like that. That's Rubik's Cube genius if I don't say so myself, and yes, I'm praising myself here. Anyway, the whole point is, look at that. Think about it. Okay. The Oakland, Octavio said the Oakland Corsairs. Gregory Jenkins, Barry, I've told you 10 times. If I like, okay, anyway. Okay. Dave Huerta. Okay, thanks. I am. Allergent says 347, you're mad about the Raiders leaving, but you're advocating for taking the Jags from Jag fans? Actually, this is what I'm advocating, okay? We take the Jags, all right, which we want to leave anyway. And to answer your question is, yeah, okay, I'm being a Raider. You're right. Yes, I am. I'm upset about it, but I'm being a Raider. Until we have legislation that stops this, I'm not going to say, oh, we don't want to do that. But my point is, look, we get the Jaguars. Then we get the Raider name from the Raiders. We make the Jaguars in Oakland the Oakland Raiders. We give the Jaguars name to Las Vegas. They're the Las Vegas Jaguars. Clean. Solved. Okay? Solved. So, yeah. Okay? So anyway, we're playing this GM. I'd rather have the Bucks from the Pirate. But the Bucks are doing well in Tampa Bay. So why? I mean, why take them out of an area where they're doing well? The Jaguars have a problem. Let's see here. Oaktown Rebels. All right, so here's a question. How many of you want the Raiders back or an expansion team or a relocated team? Just tell me what you want to see. Tell me what you want to see. I just want to see what you want to see. Raiders back. Everybody wants the Raiders back. Raiders back. Bring them back. Okay. And a brand new $1.3 billion stadium. Raiders back. Then it's settled. The crowd wins. We go after the Raiders and we bring them back. Then that's it. We focus on that. The crowd has spoken. Ellis Conway says, I was talking with some folks today and they heard something interesting. What if the Raiders, due to low attendance, are not profitable and Carr and Mack don't resign? I don't think Vegas fans will support. I don't know if that would be the trick. Let's see here. LA Raiders. Raiders back minus the owner. Raiders belong in Oakland. Gregory Jenkins says, pick your fight wisely. Sage advice. Sage advice. Matches Malone. At this point, all the NFL teams will end up moving to LA. Yeah, it does seem like that, doesn't it? Tradition. Expansion as the Raiders. Do not take nobody's trash. Tomox. Every damn time Oakland's teams get someone good, here comes someone trying to take the teams away. Yeah. Justin Fowler. I'm asking Bay Area Raider fans, will you go to leftover games? Nah. Let's see. How can the city of Oakland sue? Oh boy, how can't they? Whew. Autumn wins. Zinni, why didn't the city not sell the land to the Raiders? That, for a set of reasons that basically were just ridiculous. Okay? I can't defend that at all. I can't defend that. I told Mayor Schaaf over a year ago, give the Raiders the land and let them pay property tax. Give it to the NFL. Fine. If they want to do a deal, whatever. Okay? Whatever. All right? Just saying. All right? Is it a conditional approval? Well, anything's conditional. It doesn't work. They gotta, it's gotta fail, right? Zinni, Mark Davis says his dad, Al Davis, wouldn't want the team in Vegas. True statement. I'm not gonna overrule Mr. Davis on that because that's his dad. And who am I to say over Mark Davis what his dad wants? And we're talking about his father. And man, I didn't know well at all, even when I was trying to pitch the Super Bowl to Oakland. So I'm not even going to step in that mud at all. That I have no desire to do that. I do not dislike Mark Davis as a person. I disagree with what he did, but I like him as a person. Okay, so there you go. And there's something of the everyman in Mark Davis that is endearing. All right, and I can't attack that. All right. As much, I'm sorry, I don't do that. There are other people. Mark has, I will say this, that I think is a bit vexing. Mark has this thing where he seems to like people who tell him where to go. And that's not my nature. I don't like to treat anybody like that. The reason I don't like to be treated like that is if you push me to that level of anger, that's not something you want to do with me. Okay? So I take great pains to be nice. And I've done that throughout my entire life. I don't like to go in that other area. I did that once in my life, and I swore I would never get that angry in my entire life again. I don't like that person. And so some people mistake being nice for weakness. No, being nice means that you don't want to take yourself to that place that makes you that ugly person you don't want other people to see, let alone yourself. Okay? But Mark Davis seems to want to ignite that in some people. I don't know why. I mean, for example, when he asked me to work on the stadium, that was after I accused him on camera of going behind the mayor's back, and I was insistent on it. I didn't dislike him. I disliked what he did. And so I went up to him afterward, and we were all talking. And that's when he said, you come up with a stadium plan. He did the same thing to Grizz. He and Grizz had an argument. Then last year, then after the vote at the NFL annual meeting, Davis comes up out of the blue and says, I want to talk to you about the future. And you can see what Grizz said about that here on my, in fact, I'll post the link where you can have a look at it about what Grizz said, and I'll get that right now about that exchange, okay? And I'll get that right now because it's really worth seeing. Now, let's see here. YouTube, excuse me. Well, I'm getting that video link. You got to see this. You got to see this. You have got to see this. Creator Studio. Let's see here. You've got to see this. Slow today. What's going on? What's going on here? Oh, wait a minute. Let's go here. And go there. Wait a minute. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let me try this. Here. Creator Studio. Video Manager. And Grizz. G-R-I-Z. Grizz. Okay. And here is Godfather Grizz. Oh, Mark Davis asking for Las Vegas help. All right, there's that link. And then I'll go back to here, down here, and there's Grizz. And there it is. That's the link, folks. You can have a look at that video. Okay. Or I can show it to you. You know, better yet, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show you the video right now so you don't have to go and try to miss this stream. I'm going to show it. I'm going to show that video to everybody right now. Right now. That's what I'm going to do. So let's take a little trip here through history and go back to the dashboard and then go to that video so you can have a look at it and we'll all see it as one, okay? And we can relive great moment in Raider fan history, which I thought it was a great moment in Raider fan history. In fact, I haven't seen the whole deal since then, so hold on a second. Grizz. Bear with me, folks. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. You're going to love this. Oh, so come with me on this cyber trip, if you will. Yeah, turn this around like that. And okay, there's Grizz talking to Liz Habib of, yeah. Turn this up. Yeah, turn this around. Thank you. There's Grizz talking to Liz.
So the world knows, we're just sitting here relaxing. Forever letting Monica and myself in, discussing how we believe we're going to take the Oakland Raider name from the Oakland Raiders for the league latest. We're set on that since we want to keep that name. And in that discussion, Mark Davis just came and walked to me. Walked up. I didn't shake his hand. And basically, on his own.
I was looking at you. I was listening to you. I was facing this way.
Surrounded by police and security.
Right.
And obviously I didn't shake his hand. Yep. And he says he wants to have a one-on-one conversation with me.
Yeah, he did say that.
He wants about the future.
Yep.
And I said, and I made it clear to him. Well,
You
number
said
one,
no future.
so there's no future. We believe this is going to cripple the NFL, as well as you lost your mystique next 2 years. So what is it you want to discuss? And then he continued to say, hey, he just want to sit down and talk the future. He gave me his number. Monica has it. That was pretty much it.
I got his number too. Yeah.
And I said there is. Do you guys go to games or have you gone to the games?
We run the NFL's longest tailgate in the NFL Friday through Sundays or tailgate. That's what we call for 20 years. So we're not just we're beyond fans. We're professionals. ESPN, Fox Sports, they've all confirmed we host the longest tailgate in Oakland. That's why our culture of people, you're not going to duplicate that, and none of this makes money sense.
So when you say tailgate, it's better. It's outside the stadium.
It's right there across the street from the 66th Avenue gate for all weekend. Nowhere in the NFL today.
Feed the homeless all weekend long. So you're an institution up there.
She gets it. We're like one of the most well-known community-driven organizations, not just a tailgate case.
That and the 66th Avenue Mall.
And the 66th Avenue.
66 Mob is the location is 66. It's a nickname. Mob stands for Make It Open Better. So,
Policy in the as you drive into the policy. Got it.
did you guys want to do an interview?
Well, I am interviewing you, right? So I'm standing here talking to you.
He's got
I'm
the
trying to
camera
figure
going.
it- I'm trying to
Is the
figure
camera
it
on
out.
around?
No.
Oh, mine is. That's
So, now what? What happens over the next couple of years?
Well, for us, as I just talked to the media all day, our message to the media, as well as to Mark Davis, is we're gonna legally fight to keep the name Oakland Raiders, just like the Cleveland Browns did back in the day. So that is our next step, because it's an identity, it's like a religion, it's a church, and it just shows, regardless of if this owner, who wasn't groomed to be an NFL owner, we believe, without using slander, and the politicians that run our city and county were not able to communicate clearly amongst themselves, then there's us. And so, and then I know that our culture of people and fans have been so loyal. We sell out all the time, no matter what the situation is and who we are at this point. And for the NFL to back him up to unplug that culture, we believe is going to cripple the ratings for a long time. And the next 2 years they're under contracts to the play at Oakland, it's going to get ugly for them. The whole Oakland Raider mystique is going to go down the tubes. So regardless of what he wants to discuss with me for the future, that's our general sentiment, because we are the Oakland Raider mystique. You can't duplicate that somewhere else. So.
The last 2 times we saw him, he totally avoided us.
I've known Mark before he was an owner.
And today, after the vote, he learned. Oh, so he knows you guys. Oh, yeah.
I know him personally. Yeah, I've known his dad, Al. So.
But today he wants to talk.
No, thank you. That means a lot to us.
Did you come just to be here to make sure you...
We do this all the time on the phone. This gentleman as well.
Always at any
We've been to the last three. We haven't.
Because of the fact that
Because of fighting for our identity. The 66 Mile tailgate that started almost 20 years ago as the NFL's longest tailgate created the Fair Welcome movement about 4 years ago.
She doesn't know that. Try to get a Super Bowl to Oakland. So
Oh yeah. So basically,
I mean, I'm in LA. You know, I don't know.
well, and see the thing is the reason why we come here is there's a lot of folks that don't understand that. It doesn't mean they're wrong. And so our whole goal is to impress upon the NFL owners. Do you understand our culture? When you make your decisions, I mean, who's feeding you that information? We want to try, we want to try and plug that in as well. But at the end of the day, I think they made a huge mistake. Not just because we're Raider fans. Financially, they're going to make the most money in Oakland. And what's going to happen in Vegas? I think they're trying to pull Mark Davis out to get him out of the league. And we said because if they default on one loan, they're done. And the money numbers do not match up whatsoever. They don't. So they're going to make the most money by keeping them here, where they're going to have the loyalty. So it's something.
that's why, Liz. That's why I asked. That's why I asked. That's why I asked Eric about the debt coverage ratio question, and he avoided it
Yeah.
because he knows
I
that's a
didn't
problem.
hear it. I was
Oh, you gotta
outside
watch
trying to talk to
videos.
Mark.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's,
He's got all the numbers broken down. Yeah.
how have you been, by the way?
And we're rolling right now.
We're rolling.
I
Yeah,
cover
we're rolling.
one relocation after another because I'm.
Have you seen any videos with the numbers? He's got all the numbers broken down. My goodness.
And my thing is just like you're standing on the DMV line, and they outwardly say, "Hey, what's your phone number?" You guys listen?
Yeah.
And then so if I'm on DMV, I write it down. I'm like, I don't know all these people. I mean, who wants to give his number to everybody?
Right? Yeah.
So I asked him, "Why don't you go over there and
Yeah.
talk?"
See if it works.
That's me.
Yeah.
I don't want
That's a good way to
I don't want
be,
the whole
though.
world to know my personal number.
That's a good way to be.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But we see.
That's why I said
Another thing I can share right now. What confirmed what we do? Did we go up to Mark? No.
No.
What does he want to talk to me about the future for?
Right.
Unless it's full of beans. But what do you want to sit down and talk to the future for? Is he gonna try and hire me on for what?
That would be the only logical thing. That would be the only logical.
or
thing.
bullshit.
Okay, well, because his lawyer was right behind him smiling at me too, and his
Yeah.
other lawyers walked by me and smiled like. And you guys know I'm pro Oakland, so
And like I said, the last 2 or 3 times we've seen him, he's totally turned around and walked the other way.
Yeah.
but maybe he got the goal. Nice meeting you folks.
Nice,
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I'm sorry about this. It's a tough day.
We appreciate it.
It's well, I mean, for me, Liz, I'll be honest, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. And these guys know.
Yes.
Libby's my god sister, but between me and Scott and him, she's shut us out.
Let her know who Libby is.
The
I know
mayor.
who Libby is.
Oh, the chef. Okay, good.
And
First meeting. Want some owners meetings though.
we met the first time you and I met was in New York, November
It
13th,
was in New York, wasn't
2015.
it?
Right.
On the sidewalk.
Right. That's on the sidewalk.
That's right. On the sidewalk in New York, when
Yeah.
Libby showed up.
Yeah.
It didn't have a plan.
She came through the back way. Okay.
Didn't have a plan. It was really, I thought.
You know what happened? You know why?
I did, guys. I set that down. I said, like as though it was brand new.
No,
Right?
Eric had told
And
her.
that was a year ago, and it's still.
Yeah.
Eric had told.
All the
Hey, Liz. Eric told her to do a market study because I had briefed her the previous week, but Eric told her to do a market study, not a stadium plan. I'd given her a 4-page brief. Okay, so that's what I'm saying is that instead of having the task force, all right, everything was just kind of piecemeal, and she had her people, and it's like,
I'm sorry. I just know it's hard for a community.
and, wait a minute, and hold on a second, and folks, I gotta tell it like it is. I'm sorry, I just gotta tell it like it is.
My first house is in Oakland.
Oh, Liz, I gotta ask you.
Yeah. Not devastating. Most people don't deserve that at all. And now Rams.
And the Raiders.
So,
Right.
So like somebody was saying the other day, so all the other NFL teams should be like kind of up and going in circles too, and saying, hey, so we gotta stand up and we gotta support these people because we could be next.
Yeah.
We could be next.
Hey, Liz, what do you think of the
If they don't
Chargers?
care about
Oh,
this
sorry.
team and that team, I just think what's gonna happen next?
Yeah. What do you think of the Chargers? Are they going to do well?
I think that, well, I don't know. If they do well, but no one really even knows they're in LA yet. Just LA, everyone's oblivious.
Yeah.
There are more
Yeah.
Raiders fans here.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Think about all those people you probably see them probably come to your tailgate. They come up from LA.
They could come everywhere. What people need to realize is the heart is Oakland. They're not going to be able to do that and duplicate that in Vegas. It's not happening.
They don't even
Logically,
have
so
enough planes that
120 degree weather.
Las Vegas.
You had to fly 20,000 people.
never gonna happen.
So I just you take care. He's right behind you. And here's the thing: if Mark was serious about talking about his feelings and all that, and I've made my thoughts clear to our politicians and to the NFL, if I was owner of that team, or if I was mayor, the deal would be done.
Yeah.
And without pointing fingers, because regardless, none of this should be happening. We shouldn't be having this discussion now.
No.
And so here we are in Arizona, discussing something that is so illogical, and I firmly feel that I know that the Vegas thing is going to fail. I also feel that they just destroyed the next 2 seasons in Oakland.
Oh, completely. Already.
There's going to be certain pockets that go, not the main mystique.
Already.
The NFL's leading movement and the bigger groups are not going to be present. You just killed your vibe, man. So if you want to hire me on, you should have done a long time ago because we got a deal done.
You know, the funny thing, hey folks, more to come. Stay tuned and subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so anyway. So there that is, folks, and you saw the exchange there. When Mark Davis had walked up, and what happened was I was actually on the phone with someone talking about Mr. Davis, and what happened was that I was faced in this direction, okay, and Grizz was here, and Mark came this way, and it was like, for me, it was a shock because I was faced in this direction, but Grizz was looking right at him. He saw him coming up, and so my first reaction was on the phone was to say, I gotta call you back. And then I didn't turn the camera on Mr. Davis because I didn't want him to say, I don't want to say this now, call me later. So I just let the whole thing play out in front of me. And that's what Mark was saying. Hey, let's get together and talk the future. You heard what Grizz said. That's what happened. That's the exchange. Now, and let's see here. Mikey Raider. Let's see here. Mafia. All I can say is 750 million. Yeah, but what about the billion debt? Gregory Jenkins. Well, thank you for the first-hand account. It's as good as film. Thank you, Gregory. Eric Powell. My son is a huge Green Bay fan. I tell him about the Oakland culture. Other fans just don't get it. Mark knows he would lose that. He has built a foundation for the 21st century, something Al never could do. Ray Perez, Dr. Death, good evening, my fellow Raider fans. Is this the real Ray Perez? Wait a minute. Ray, are you real? Wait a minute. Wait. Ray? Is this you? Is this really you? Hey, Ray, if this is really you, give me a text, okay? Right now. Okay? Give me a text. If this is a text, Ray, give me a text. If this is you. Say, Ray, if this is you, give me a text now. Okay? Yeah, but give me a text. Give me a text, Ray, because if it's you, you can text me right now. All right? You can text me right now. And I can see it right up there and I know it's you. If you can't text me, I can't know that it's you. Right? So give me a text. Okay. Ray, give me a text. Okay, Ray, if you don't give me a text, I'm going to have to lock you out, all right? Because I don't want anybody impersonating Dr. Death. Okay? So if there's some reason you can't give me a text, I gotta lock you out. Ray Perez has my number and he can text me. All right? So, okay? You know what? I'm not getting a text from him, so block him. Because I don't know that's Ray. And Ray, if it's Ray, Ray will let me know, all right? I hear from him. But forget it. Yeah, block him, because that's not right. Don't even impersonate him. Because, see, people, when you do that, no, okay, all right, I'm going to, okay. Ray, you got to text me now. Because we have, see, I don't know, and you know how this works, man. The people might be impersonating you, okay? So I'm sorry, man. Text me and let me know that you're there, because if you wanted to be on, you're not going to have me on as a guest. I've done it before, right? So my point is that if it's you, text me now. Because you would have done that. I would have seen it right up there, okay? Sorry. Anyway, that's not cool. It's not cool to impersonate Dr. Death at all. Not cool. Now, let's see. Is anyhow the taxpayer reference is affected by the $750 million in public funding? Well, basically, it's a tax that causes higher hotel rates, which have to be paid, and normally raising the hotel tax would go to education and other services, but not in this case. So it affects them. It's lost potential additional revenue that could be done. But it's going for a football stadium, which is not going to produce revenue additionally for services that, at least not directly, okay? So that's the impact. Zinni, we need to officially kill the term city fan. Yeah, we do. Dope. Not cool. Justin Fowler, it's $900 million they have to pay because of interest. Actually, you know what? It's also the PSLs. If the PSLs don't work, you got $750 million. Plus, you got to cough up whatever shortfall on PSL sales are faced. All right. Zinni, did you see someone's going by Dr. Death in Las Vegas? He bought the name and copyright and everything. What? Are you kidding? What? Someone is impersonating Dr. Death in Las Vegas? Whoa. That's not cool. Someone... That's really wrong. Is the fake Dr. Death? Wow. No, that's wrong. That is just wrong. Yeah, I will call Ray after this. I'll call Ray because that's not right. It's 132. I'll stop at 145, somewhere in there. Yeah, somewhere in there. But that's wrong. That's just wrong. Wrong. That's rank wrong. That's just not wrong. That's not only just wrong, that's wrong. Okay? I mean, there's wrong. There's wrong, and then there's wrong. That's horrible, man. Impersonating Dr. Death is just wrong. Wow. Okay. That's just wrong. Hey, by the way, UConn lost. Just noting that. So is the Lot Group and Fortress completely done with Oakland now? No. Fortress isn't. You know, no one knows what's going on with Ronnie Lott. Ronnie should have issued a statement by now, brought the fans together, but he just went dark. And so did Rodney Pete and Holly Robinson Pete and the whole group. Marcus Allen, they just went back to LA, I guess, and acted like this never happened. That's the impression that I'm getting. No one's heard anything. It would be a good idea if they stepped out and made a statement and brought the fan base together. I don't know what's going on. John Santos says there are some real scummy people in Vegas. I learned the hard way owning property there. Wow. Yeah, UConn lost. UConn women lost. Their 111 game win streak was broken tonight. I got to vlog that one. I think the league told Lott to back off. Well, why? What do you threaten his pension? I mean, come on. Seriously? Back off on what? Yeah, exactly. Build the stadium in Oakland to call their bluff. That's what I say. In overtime, they lost. Wow. Overtime. Overtime. Wait, UConn. UConn lost. Wow. No, the lot group still has the deal. Nothing has changed there. They still have the ENA. It wasn't contingent on the NFL granting the Raiders or saying to the Raiders, you stay here, you can't go to Vegas. Still active. Wow. Yeah, any given team on any given day. That's right. UConn lost. Henry Flores, Zinni, I believe for at least the preseason, there should be a day without a Raider fan. This will send a message to the NFL not to mess with the fans. I think that's a great idea. I like the idea of actually boycotting the opening game. You know, nobody there. Just okay, maybe like a handful of people just waving in the stands, like, you know, like that. Showing them what an empty stadium looks like. That would be powerful. And everybody tailgating outside, right? And that's the thing. You go to the game, you buy your tickets, fine, but you tailgate outside for the first half of the game, and then you go in the second half to show everyone the difference, right? And to show how powerful that is, okay? Yeah, I believe Las Vegas has a foreclosure issue. But here's the thing. I don't dislike Las Vegas. I love Vegas. This is not anti-Vegas. And the one thing I don't like about this entire game is how it's pitted people against each other in ways that are not necessary. This whole thing, like even with me talking about getting the Jaguars and all that, that doesn't help anything. So I'm glad I put it to you all to remind me of what the mission is. Make the Raiders stay here in some kind of way. That should be the focus. Forget the Jaguars. I get the message. I got the message. I got religion. I got it. Okay. I got it. Get the Raiders to stay here. Focus on that. That is all. Period. Getcha. That's it. Yeah, that's it. You know, we do everything in our power to make the Raiders stay in Oakland. That's it. And so, Gregory Jenkins, is that realistically possible, though? Yeah, it is. We have to make it so. Look, it's not doing the impossible. The precedent had been set for us by the California Supreme Court, which did say we had the right to sue and take the team by eminent domain. The trouble is that because the Raiders are going from Oakland to Los Angeles, their attorneys invoked the Commerce Clause, said that they had the right to the free flow of capital to a better market, and went to LA under those terms. But that is not the case with Las Vegas. It's a different situation, and not only that, as is proven by the new Braves Stadium in Cobb County, which is in the center of a mixed-use development, stadiums are paid for and backed by ancillary development around them. We need that in Oakland. Keep them here. Fight for them. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah. Joseph Jones, Zinni, I don't know if you answered my question. I was offline, but if the city sues the Raiders and wins, do we have to take the team back? I don't think anyone wants Davis back in Oakland. Yeah, we have to take the team back. Now, as to how that works out with Mr. Davis, I don't know. If we win, basically we win the right to the Raiders. Here. He has to come back. He can sell his right to the team. Fine. You know, or just maybe come clean with all of us about what's wrong with Oakland that he doesn't want to be here. I mean, you know what? He can own the team, but he doesn't have to live in Oakland. Wouldn't be the first owner that didn't live in the city of the team that he owned. Or she. So, players and coaches are collateral. It's a message to the owner. Y'all want to take the Raiders name for Carr and Mack, really? Well, no. I mean, they would come along with us. Players and coaches are, you know, I need to get an expert on here and talk eminent domain. That's what I need to do. I want to get Leah Steinberg on here to do that. The mission continues. Now, I agree, Bernard. I don't like that idea. vote green. If the city thinks they have a case, I say go for it. And Richard, we do have a case. We do have. Gregory, we have a case. Johnny Marks, you need to get Libby. Yeah, I do. Zinni, off topic. What do you think of that video I sent you on Twitter, Deadpool the musical? Barry, I didn't even look at that one. I've been so focused on this and client stuff. I apologize. I'll look at it. Mark Davis already lives in L.A. Yeah, he lives in Palm Springs. Joseph Jones, he's not the number one guy in Oakland. That's the problem. His own ego and not live in his own father's shadow. John Santos, others will sue, and that's in the works. El Monte, would anyone really accept the reason if Mark honestly said why he didn't want Oakland? Yeah, I think so. Authenticity is prized today, El Monte. Tony Vincent, until the team announces a date, they will be starting groundbreaking on the biggest site. I refuse to believe they are leaving. Me too. Yeah. And Gregory Jenkins is right. Joseph Jones did make a good point. Richard Villalobos, Oakland Raiders, only name that sounds right. Yep. Off topic, remember Leon Heskett, the Coliseum carpet? I do, John. Isaac Rojas, how are you? The city administrator said he would sue, but Libby Shaft said she wouldn't. So which is it? You mean the city administrator we have is not a he, it's a she. And Libby Shaft is that person's boss. So Libby said she was done with the Raiders. There are others who will. And I believe that Libby's going to be compelled to come along if the case is winnable. So I would discount that. Do you recommend that we donate funds to lawsuits that aren't done by the city? Yeah. Yes, I do. Yes. Donate lawsuit funds to Ray Bobbitt. Yes. He is working on the other lawsuit. So yeah, I think I posted his email previous stream, but if you send me an email, I'll post it again, and that way you'll have it, and I won't have to attach it here and then hope you see it, So, Chris Brim was critical of all these recent moves. Yeah, these are terrible. When and where will they post info? I'll find out. Barry Lee, I wished I lived in Oakland because I would walk house to house pounding the streets to help you get elected if you decide to run for mayor. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm still, haven't quite finalized that, but I'm talking with a lot of people, the right people, including you all, my fans. Lee Steinberg, Ray Bobbitt, Dr. Death on Livestream at the same time, next Livestream. That would be a good idea. Lee Steinberg, Ray Bobbitt, Dr. Death on Livestream at the same time. Wiggle Babies, please run Zinni. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Vote Green. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And I don't want the Raiders to leave. Shut it down, Raider fans. Boycott all games. Zinni for mayor. I like that. Libby can run against me. We can do a ranked choice voting. We can team up, right? So I'm just saying. Maybe I should recommend that Mr. Bobbitt start a GoFundMe page. Good idea. When is the next live stream? Sunday. Gregory Jenkins Wise says, pick your fights wisely, Zinni. I'm aware of that. I've been counseled on that, Mr. Jenkins. You're absolutely right. But this is not a matter of, as far as the whole mayor issue I think you're talking about, I believe I have the right message for the city. It's not about beyond the Raiders. It has to do with something I call cultural economic development. Cultural development. That's my message. And I'll put it in a nutshell. In Atlanta, where I am now, rappers, black artists, when I say black artists, actors, we're prized here, okay? And people, regardless of their race, creed, or color, have a value here that I feel isn't in Oakland anymore. And a large part of it has to do with the expense of housing back home, but we also don't support businesses like we used to, particularly women and minority-owned businesses. And it's not that we don't. Libby has been quite clear in her support, but the level of support overall is not what it was when I worked for L.E. Harris as mayor, even prior to that, or even after. And we really need to get back to having programs and venues that gave punk rockers, rappers, artists of all kinds, painters, musicians, tech, startup people who are creative but need an affordable place, and then a place where we can invite venture capitalists. You know what we really need? We need something like Austin South by Southwest, okay? But inculcated in the Oakland economy. And that has a home where we have a festival annually. But then we have different programs that support the development of what these artists of different types are doing. Tech artists, music artists, fashion artists, and so on. Encourage them to work together. People who don't have a lot of money and may never be really rich, but have a talent that they deserve to live from. That's what I wanted. That's what I'm talking about. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Anyway. Hey, good night, Murray. Good night. Good night. I probably went off on that too much. Let's see here. What are the chances the Raiders stay in Oakland? Well, I want to say 50-50. Who's your daddy's state? It's a state versus state thing. Why won't former Mayor Jerry Brown get involved? How many other California businesses will he watch new Governor Sandoval steal away from with big corporate welfare? Just like Georgia and North Carolina stole much of our movie industry? Good question. That's right. No words from Jerry Brown on Oakland situation. That's true. And that's very true. That's very true. That's very true. Okay, I'm going to stop going to end at 2 a.m. FYI. Okay? Soon, okay? So, everybody says Jerry Brown hates sports. That's not the whole point. You know, the whole point of it is that Jerry Brown is Jerry Brown hating sports, whatever. The city is ran not by the needs and desires of the mayor, but by the mayor recognizing what it takes to build a city that everyone wants to be in regardless of their tastes. You want sports? We've got sports. You want great restaurants? We have that. You want a venue to present your latest musical offering? We have that. You want an incubator for tech? We've got that. And so on and so on and so on. You want a park to plan? We have that. That's what a city is all about. It's not about, well, Jerry doesn't like this and he's mayor, so you're going to go ahead and capitulate? I certainly hope not. It's not what it's about. No. Oh, see here. David Hercher says he is the reason the A's didn't go downtown in 2004. So actually it's 2002. Specifically, it was June 12th of 2002 at 12:20 in the afternoon when Jerry Brown said, "There's not going to be a fucking downtown stadium in Oakland as long as I'm mayor." He said that. Okay. So, wow, Zane, your vision is huge and exactly what Oakland needs. And ATL is a perfect example. Thank you. Yeah, because I believe that if we had a cultural economic development strategy, we would have far less change in our racial makeup than we have now. There are places in Oakland, cafes, I can go to, I'm the only black guy there. That's weird. That's a development in the making over the last year and a half. But we have an enormous, not just gentrification, but a covert racism problem that we talk about that we've never had before. We're losing the soul of Oakland. The soul of Oakland was made up by this development of its cultural economy. We had a natural development. Now we have to bring that back. Okay. Now, so Jerry Brown is indirectly the reason the Raiders are on their way out. Let's see here. What time is the show going for? I'm stopping at 2. It's 1:48 Eastern right now, so I'm stopping in 12 minutes. Yeah. Stopping show at 2 a.m. EST. Okay? It's 1:49 a.m. EST. Okay? There. Not tonight. No. Not. Yeah. Gentrification is real and it's happening everywhere, says Almonte. Jason Matson. Mark Davis has, okay, some sort of problem with women in power. That's why Mark Davis failed to talk with Libby Schaaf. I do get that impression. It's a sad thing, and that's something that I've tried to allude to. And Golden State Warriors says I look tired. I am tired. It's been a long week. And I'm not in Oakland right now. Vote Green. Zinni, as an expert in urban economics, I really want to hear your opinion on taxpayer funding. On taxpayers funding a stadium for private enterprise, which makes north of $13 billion a year. Now, I don't think that's right, particularly in this era of the billionaire. Everyone's talking about how much of the billionaires, and Trump's got billionaires on his cabinet. Everybody's got billionaires. Well, let the billionaires pay for their $1 billion stadium. Why not? Let's see. I am on the East Coast. Yes, I'm in Oakland. I'm not in Oakland. I'm in Oakland. I'm in Atlanta. Ugh, I'm tired. I'm so confused. I'm not. Mark Steingart says he's confused. I'm not. But I am tired of the BS. And I'm visiting my mom in Georgia. You're right. Yes. Someone wants me to get Mark Davis on live stream so they can talk about him. Oh my God. Yeah, I may be doing one of these in Chicago. You never know. That's right. If Coliseum location is empty, I agree with Zinni about building a massive convention center with hotels. We should compete with LA for the big events. Even San Jose has good ones. Yeah, absolutely. And those convention centers create jobs for people in the concession stands. I remember getting on the elevator at the Coliseum for a Raider game, and a woman was talking about how she had worked 4 hours at the Raider game and then 4 hours at the Warrior game, and she was able to piece together 8-hour days. That's gone right now. That looks like it's gone, or it's going away. So, that should not be. That should not be. Even Libby said, well, the Warriors are in the Legion. You know what? You want the Warriors in Oakland. You want to fight for Oakland, but you don't want to give up like that. Just say, oh, I'm going to just let the winds of other people's desires take me. That's not the way it's done. No. Oakland used to fight for stuff like that. I don't think Oakland should morph into or dissolve into a city that basically loses its desire to fight. I feel like we're doing that. And so nobody from California governor's office helped us not lose the Raiders. The California governor's office didn't step in on their own. They could have. It didn't happen. So, all right. I don't think Libby is the problem. I just think that overall we have a city and a council that is reluctant to fight. And Mark Davis said one thing, and I said it last night, I'll say it again, that was right on. We do act sometimes, and have done in the past, like the Raiders couldn't go anywhere. And we have treated them that way, in spite of my comments that we should actually not treat the Raiders that way and treat them like they can't go anywhere. We did the A's the same way. And it's a proxy for laziness. We don't want to build anything. No, work. Build. Improve your infrastructure. Keep your teams and your companies. So that, we got into trouble there. 153, by the way. The league's most loyal fan base gets rewarded like this. To hell with the NFL, says Ravender. James McClendon. Libby must represent the will of the people or step aside. True. Now, here's the thing. There is an argument for mayors losing teams and being reelected. Because the constituency that elected her, by and large, doesn't care about the Raider issue, theoretically. Now, I have told her, and I will repeat this, that I believe that you losing the brand of the Raiders is so big that it overshadows that. Because it's one thing for people to say that when the Raiders are here and they can't actually imagine it happening, but now it's happened. Okay? The NFL granted the Raiders the right to move. They haven't gone yet. But the reality is upon us. And so, yeah, that would impact an election. Plus, the Warriors are leaving. Plus the ghost ship fire and everything else. So that's a tough record for Libby. That really is. And she's got to come out swinging. She's got a year to come out swinging. She's got basically a month to come out swinging with this issue, and she can't just rest on the A's. She's got to really punch her detractors in the mouth. That's what Libby Schaaf's got to do. So, let's see here. And so I never say never. Yeah, I think Libby can fight, but she needs to be appropriately pushed. And I don't know that this issue has been that's done it. Okay? But Libby needs to push herself to make change. I would hope this is that issue. My other theory, I have another theory that I'm putting to the test slowly, but I'm not going to go into that because they don't blow it. Okay. She's got to play offense instead of defense, says Gregory Drinkus. That's right. W. Michael. This is a tale of good versus evil, and we are letting the evil win. W. Michael has said it. Right. Wait a minute. I got to highlight that before it goes away. Excuse me. W. Michael has said it. The point. The point. W. Michael. This is a tale of good versus evil, and we are letting the evil win. W. Michael gets the comment of the night. That's right. That's right. Yeah, that was a good one. W. Michael, you said it. You said it for us. Eric Power said Libby played prevent and lost. It was kind of a prevent. It was almost like that prevent defense, or what is the other? It was like the rope-a-dope, right? But instead of rope-a-doping and winning, we got knocked out. You know? Yeah. Yeah, 5 minutes. Hey, Zinni, I gotta go. Thanks for info. Aloha. Are you in Hawaii, Patrick? Thank you. Libby, Cleveland Browns. That's right. John Santos, total prevent. Baba Boy, you think San Diego let them play there until you're ready to move to Vegas? In another substandard stadium? Thinking that everybody's going to rush down there and play and see the Raiders too? Yeah, right. That's crazy. Zinni busts out the Bernie message. Huge, that's right. Oh, okay, thank you. Let's see. Let's see here. What power do the other Raider owners have? That is the magic question of the day. That is the magic question of the day, Mr. Stinghart. Is that it? If you own 10% of the Raiders, shouldn't they have a say? Yes. Yes. But who are they? And how do we contact them? Yes. All Californians should have united to keep the Raiders in Oakland. The problem is we don't see ourselves as a united people. Well said. Enjoy life now, 24. Ricardo's Villalobos. I don't think they have any mark. I don't know what that means. Ricardo, Big Earl Campbell, and Houston is amazing. The California Raisins. That's right. Money does not buy you loyalty. Vegas would be a disaster if the Raiders have a losing season. It would look like the San Diego Stadium when we played them this year. I agree. Henry Flores. Okay. She did take some of my advice to heart, Henry. I can't put that on her early on. I think that, but when you have a task, the trouble is that because you don't have a task force, this is what happens. With Mark Davis asked me to form my plan, which included the 2 hotel wings at 1,010 rooms, which would be used to finance about almost $400 million of the stadium. That $400 million chunk that Mr. Davis said that was missing, he wanted public money for. All right, Cashman, who I've known for a long time, was one of the stadium people on her little bureaucratic task force, said that, oh, that's crazy. They'll never be able to fill up that hotel. No large hotel has been built here in years. And the reason it hasn't been is, and I called Pat and talked to him about this directly. I said that he was wrong. The reason why we haven't had a hotel here in years is because of cost and regulation. But the demand is here. According to HBC Consulting, there's a 16,000 hotel room shortage in the San Francisco Bay Area, and at least 1,000 rooms in Oakland alone. So you're going to tell me we can't fill that with a complex that would have been designed in such a way that the hotel atrium would have been the south end zone of the Coliseum? Are you kidding me? You'd be walking right into the hotel through the south end zone corridor where you get concessions and all that. You just go up one level, that's registration. There you are. You go up 2 levels, that's mezzanine. 4 levels, they're your rooms. 5, 6 levels, you're getting your sky deck areas for the game. You see, I thought this out already. And yeah, I'm crazy enough to do that. Okay? Right. So, let's see here. So wait, Mark declined your hotel ideas, but goes in for Darius' hotel plan. Yeah, see? That's right. And not only that, I got Piper Jaffray investment bankers. Plus, I got Piper Jaffray. For Raiders. Okay, folks, it's 2 o'clock. I'm going to say good night. Yeah. Check out, go to Google and type Oakland Coliseum City Reboot or Coliseum City Reboot in Google. First results, the website I've developed. You can read all about my plan. It's still there. Good night, everybody. Good night. Good night, everybody. Good night. Oh, it's 2:01. I'm going to sleep, folks. I'm not gonna. Thank you. A fine line between crazy and genius. Thanks. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. Good night, John. Good night, Barry. Good night, and Antonici, Mr. Antonici. Good night, Wiggle Babies. Good night, Vote Green. Good night, Zensters. Good night, everybody. Good night. Good night, Mark. Good night. Good night. Night, everybody. Good night. See ya. Sunday. I'll be back Sunday. I need a day of rest at least. Wow. Sunday. Good night, everybody. Good night. Good night. I still gotta work on having that special guest that nobody expected. I'm working on it. Just not getting that bite. But good night, everybody. May I set up a booking agency. Good night, everybody. Good night. Good night. Thank you all. Good night. Good night. Good night, Sumo Kong. Good night, Zinni. Good night, Zinni. I'm Zinni. You're the Zinsters. Good night, Zinsters. Good night. I am obviously tired. I am obviously... Good night, everybody. Good night. Good night. Night, Sun Wukong. Night. Yeah, okay, we're going to bed. Good night. I'm going... Good night. This is out. See ya.